right, welcome back to the One Bar and Leppigus Show. I'm One Bar. In this episode, we're talking 5 biggest needs for the Vikings heading into the 2021 NFL Draft. Before we get into that, subscribe to the channel, like the videos. We're going to hit 2,000 subs a day. Can't wait. When we do that, we're going to be giving away 3 of these guys. Don't worry, you can pick your own color because this just screams pizza sauce and nacho cheese all over it. So we're going to randomly pick some subscribers, commenters, who gets to take those and wear those around town so people can wonder what the hell that even means. But let's talk NFL Draft. 5 biggest needs in order today, in order. So some of these you might be scratching your head, wondering why the hell I'd have that above that. Let me know around the comments your biggest needs, what you would change up. But let's do this. Vikings picking 14. Should be some pretty damn good players on the board. I'm always a big fan of taking best player available. But we'll see what happens. So let's get into this. Number 1 need for the Vikings heading into the offseason, heading into the draft, I have is an edge rusher, defensive end. Vikings were damn near at the bottom as far as sacks on defense this year. I think they had 23. That is like 1 season of Jared Allen. By the way, congratulations, finalist for the Hall of Fame. Let's get that guy in there. 23 sacks, and our leading sack guy was Yannick Ngakoue, who played very, very minimal games for the Minnesota Vikings this year. He led the team with 5 sacks. Behind him, Odenigbo, DJ Wanham had 3.5, something like that. Tough, very, very tough. I realize we do not have Danielle Hunter. I realize he would have probably had 10 to 15 sacks right there and made this a much lesser need. But when he comes back next year, coming back from an injury, opposite him, we're going to have guys like DJ Wanham, Jordan Brailford, Odenigbo. That's still not very great. Wanham in the future, who knows? I love his ceiling. I think he's still very raw, but we need to get some pressure on that quarterback. We cannot have this quarterback back there all damn day with this young secondary, and that is a big reason why I have edge so high. Our secondary is very young. We need to get that quarterback scrambling to give these youngsters a chance to succeed. If we go through another season like we did this year, how the hell can you have confidence? Any secondary, if a quarterback has 5-6 seconds back there to do whatever he wants, is gonna get smoked. It's gonna get smoked often. So defensive end, edge rusher is definitely my number 1 need. When it comes to the draft, there's gonna be some guys in this first round. Greg Russo from Miami, Kwity Paye from Michigan. They're gonna be very, very sexy names for the Vikings. Unfortunately, they're probably going to be gone. We'll see what happens. Stranger things have happened in the draft, but those are the 2 big boy names in this draft. So Vikings gods, let him slip. All right, next up, number 2 need, defensive tackle. Again, another position that we're hit hard with Michael Pierce opting out, just having to go with a Jaleel Johnson, Shamar Stephen. Our run defense was horrific. I don't need to get into that. Everybody knows that. Very, very bottom of the league when it comes to stopping the run. Alvin Kamara ran 6 touchdowns on Christmas Day. That is not good. But we were getting torched all year on the run, and we need some guys up in the middle. So who's going to play next to Pierce next year? That's going to be a big question. Jaleel Johnson is a free agent. He's not going to be back. Shamar Stephen probably won't be back. We have some riffraff behind them, unproven guys like Armon Watts, Hercules Mataafa, James Lynch. We need to do better in that. At least add more depth, at least add some guys that can compete for some of these guys to get up there to stuff this run, because until we do that, this defense is going to continue to be crap. As far as round 1 guys at defensive tackle, there's not generally those 2 to 3 guys that are just surefire top 10 picks that you see at defensive tackle. Things could change. Guys' stock goes up, goes down in the next coming months. Can't wait. That's the best part about the draft, but defensive tackle needs to be addressed in the first 4 rounds for sure for the Minnesota Vikings, if not multiple times. We're going to have a handful of 4th round picks, and defensive tackle needs to be one of those guys. So that is my number 2 need. Number 3, this one might actually make people cringe or wonder what the hell I'm smoking, but cornerback. We know Zimmer loves cornerbacks, and right now we got 2 very good, very young cornerbacks in Dantzler and Gladney, but behind him, depth is nil. When you're trotting Chris Jones out there, that is an issue. Harrison Hand, while I like him a lot more than I probably should, is showing some intrigue, but he's a 5th round guy. He's raw. He needs some time. He shouldn't even be out right now. Chris Boyd is a question mark. Mike Hughes coming back from another injury. is a question mark. Even if he does come back, Mike Hughes really hasn't knocked the socks off of anybody at the cornerback position. So cornerback will continue to be a need. Ideally, this is one that is possibly squashed with some vets in free agency, but we know our current status with the salary cap, so that is an issue as well. But cornerback is number 3. So my top 3 needs are defense. Not surprising, our defense is one of the worst in the league, and that needs to be squashed. So running out my top 5. 4th biggest need I have is wide receiver. Wide receiver, we struck gold with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, 31 years old, playing like he is 24. So we're very top heavy, but behind those guys, you know, we have the Chad Beebes, we have the BC Johnsons, and that's really it. We have a couple 4th and 5th receivers. We don't really have that true number 3. Just think back to when the Vikings in 98 drafted Randy Moss and we had Jake Reed and Chris Carter. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that Randy Moss would have come in and do that? Not saying we're going to draft the next Randy Moss, but getting a 3rd receiver in there is going to help open up this offense and give the Vikings something they haven't had in a while, which is a legit number 3 receiver. So guys in the 1st round, I mean, are they going to take a Smith from Alabama who just won the Heisman yesterday? He probably won't be there. If he is, it's going to be very hard to pass on a guy like that. Waddle, another guy from Alabama. There's some good receivers in this draft, so do not be overly shocked if that actually comes to fruition and we actually double dip 2 years in a row and take 2 first-round wide receivers. Just imagine throwing some guy like in that with Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins, and Justin Jefferson, Thielen, Irv Smith. Woo, damn. All right, number 5, 5th biggest need on my list. And I'm surprised this one lasted this long, but I think the other ones are so necessary, I bumped them back, and that's guard. And this is where I might take a little bit of heat having guard at 5, but hear me out on this one. Dakota Dozier, free agent. If he comes back, I guess I won't know what to say. That'll be my own 4-hour video I'll put on that. But Dozier appears to be out the door. Ezra Cleveland, as of now, he is our guard. We got to see what we're doing with Riley Reif. That's going to have a lot to do with this need. And then behind him, we got guys like Kyle Hinton, Oli Udoh, where we just have no idea what the Vikings' plans are for those guys. Unproven, not great. But look at what this team did this year with very poor guard play. Dalvin Cook, best season. Kirk Cousins, damn near his best season statistically. Huge numbers in the air. So while it is a huge, huge need, somehow we've managed to still put up some points on offense. Kirk Cousins, yes, we need to keep him safe. We need to keep him upright. The reason I have this lower is I feel that it is almost impossible to be worse than it was this year. If they were to address this in round 3 and get a guard, great. I would feel very good about this. We haven't proven that we can get mid-round guards and do things with them, so that gets me a little concerned. But the Wyatt Davis in round 1, he's the number 1 guard in this draft. He is the guy that will be talked about when it comes to guards in round 1. I wouldn't be upset one damn bit if we took him. I just think that the other needs are so much higher that we could be passing on a guard. But it will be addressed. It is a need. It is a glaring need. It's just a matter of what is addressed in free agency. So those are my top 5 needs. Let me know what your needs are. Hit me up in the comments. And yeah, these needs will fluctuate as the offseason continues. Can't wait.